China has boosted sales of mechanical parts to Russia used for military equipment in its war against Ukraine, anonymous U.S. officials told multiple outlets Friday. A potentially troubling sign in Washington as tensions with both Moscow and Beijing continue to worsen. Chinese companies and firms that support Russia's war could face sanctions from the U.S., with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warning in a press conference this week the U.S. is prepared to punish supporters. In that speech, Yellen said the Biden administration is concerned about the role Chinese firms are playing in Russia's military procurement, warning those companies will face significant consequences if they support Russia's military in its war with Ukraine. The warnings from the Biden administration echo similar concerns from U.S. officials over Chinese support since Russia launched its invasion in February 2022. 1 year after the start of the war, a Wall Street Journal report found Chinese state-owned defense companies sent navigation equipment and other components used in fighter jets to Russian defense companies, citing Russian customs data provided by C4ADS. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also warned China could be considering lethal support to Russia. Dmitry Peskov, a spokesperson for the Kremlin, suggested to the journal that Russia has enough technical potential for the conflict, while Chinese officials pushed back on U.S. claims of lethal support. Earlier in February 2023, Chinese officials said they deepened a mutual political trust with Moscow, signaling a strengthening partnership. Meanwhile, U.S. tensions with Beijing continued to worsen, following a string of events over the past 2 years, including a suspected Chinese spy balloon that floated over the U.S. last summer and heightened Chinese military action in the waters off Taiwan, a U.S. ally that China has increasingly warned it could take over. While Western countries have imposed economic sanctions on Russia and delivered military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine, China had for months publicly claimed neutrality in the war, refusing to issue sanctions on Russia as well as aid to Ukraine, though U.S. officials have increasingly rejected the notion of neutrality. Last February, Chinese President Xi Jinping took his first trip to Moscow since the beginning of the war, promoting peace talks between Russia and Ukraine as part of a bid to persuade Russia from turning to nuclear weapons in its fight. Putin had previously suspended Russia's participation in a major nuclear arms agreement with the U.S., sparking widespread concerns over a potential humanitarian catastrophe. In that meeting, Putin admitted Beijing had concerns about the war, saying the Kremlin understood those concerns.